You guys, and welcome to my Premier League predictions. The transfer window has just closed, so now the teams are at their full strength for most of the year anyway. I thought it was the best time to do the Premier League predictions. I will actually be doing a podcast with Ethan, you know him from the last podcast. We will probably end up talking about the transfer window and all the Premier League stuff, so look forward to that in the coming weeks. That's pretty much it for introduction, so we'll jump straight into the video. If you do enjoy it, drop a like, and if you are new, hit that subscribe button to never miss any football and FIFA related stuff. But let's get straight into the video. The bottom three, as you can see at the very bottom of your screen, I know it's quite hard to see, but for most of it to fit in, I had to do it this way. At the bottom, we have Hull. Personally, for me, they haven't made enough signings to have any contention of staying up in the Premier League. Newly promoted, obviously. They won the playoff final against Sheffield Wednesday, and then they just haven't strengthened. They lost their manager, and they just haven't brought in anyone to really put any pressure on any of the other potential relegating teams. So I just thought Hull are definitely going to get relegated, definitely going to finish bottom for me. They just haven't strengthened enough, and they've got no quality players to put them above any of the other teams and make them just avoid relegation. So Hull City will be finishing bottom for me. In at number 19th, though, we've got Burnley, another newly promoted team. I think, yeah, Burnley are the newly promoted team. And once again, they haven't really strengthened either. They've brought in a few players, but not many that have really come to my attention. And when I was watching Deadline Day last night, or any of the transfers in the window that have really made any key impacts. So I think Burnley will also be relegated. And then in 18th, we have Sunderland. They've got a new manager in David Moyes, who is actually a decent manager, but after his time at Manchester United, I'm not exactly a fan of him. But the other players they've brought in, they're just not good enough, really. Adnan Januzaj, he's crap. They brought in Jason Denier, who I believe is a good player, but right now isn't really Premier League quality, and he needs to go out on loan somewhere else from Manchester City. But oh well, I guess that's City's choice. Not really much they can do about that. But Sunderland just haven't really brought in any key players, and Jermaine Defoe's not going to be able to hold them up again. Jermaine Defoe dragged them out of it last year, not twice. So for me, Hull, Burnley and Sunderland will be the three teams that get relegated. But we'll move on to the more positive things in 17th to 12th. Into the 17th spot, we have Swansea, a team that haven't really had the best of starts. I know they've done alright in their results, but in the transfer window they've done very, very poor. They haven't brought in any key signings, and they've lost Ashley Williams and Andre Ayew to other teams in the Premier League, so that's going to put them in a massive disadvantage. Not only have they lost the players, but they're going to have to play against them, and they are some of their best players that they had in the team. Into 16th place, we have West Bromwich Albion, a team from the Midlands where I'm from. Obviously, I'd like to do well being from the Midlands, but not really a very good team. Obviously, they've got a few players, and they've lost a few players, and they've signed a few players, and the manager maybe isn't the best in the world. So not really going to be pushing for any of the top flight teams. I think they're not going to get relegated, but they're not going to have an absolutely Leicester City style season where they go and win the bloody league. But yeah, West Brom to finish in 16th place, not the best of teams, and they've not got the best of managers to really help them develop much further in their league position, but I don't believe they'll come and do any worse than that. Into 15th place, we've got Stoke City, a team very close to where I live actually, only a few hours down the road. So far this season, it's a bit of a weird one because they haven't done very well, but they haven't done too bad with who they've played. They had Manchester City and at home for Stoke, which is obviously always a difficult game to play Stoke at Stoke. Obviously, Messi can do it in Barcelona, but can he do it on a cold rain night in Stoke? We know Pep Guardiola can do it. So yeah, Stoke obviously have a solid team. I think they will push on from where they are now, and they will solidify themselves still in the Premier League. They've got a very good team, but I guess now they have signed Wilfred Bonny actually. They have got a really star-man striker up there. I don't really rate Bonny too much, but when he was at Swansea, I did rate him quite a bit. So I guess he hasn't had much game time at City, so maybe Bonny will come out of his shell and help Stoke definitely push up there. Arnautovic, Shaqiri will be very key for Stoke, and if they can keep them fit, I don't see any reason why they can't finish 15th and maybe even higher up the league. Into 14th place, we've got Middlesbrough, a newly promoted side who look extremely strong. They've signed so many good players. Victor Valdez, Negredo, Victor Fish, who I rate really highly, and a young Spanish centre-back by the name of Ayala, I believe. He's very good. He got an inform actually this week for FIFA. I rate their team very much. They have a very, very good team. And for me next year, Middlesbrough could be a team to do a very good career mode with. They have a very good team as it stands, but there are still obviously improvements that need to be made in places. But transfer-wise, Middlesbrough have done very well, brought in a lot of good players, and they've sold really fringe players that aren't going to make any appearances. So Middlesbrough look very, very strong. Into 13th place, we've got Watford. Last year, I believe they finished 14th, and they had a very, very good team. And this year is no different. They've signed some absolutely incredible Pereiras. Pereiras. They have signed Pereira. They have signed some absolutely incredible players in Pereira, Zuniga, and they've signed a young Ivorian right back by the name of De Gea, I believe is how you say it. He looks very good. They have obviously lost Neom, which is a big flaw, who has actually gone to West Brom. Another Premier League transfer, which I believe is never a good thing, never sell to teams that especially could be near your position. But I believe Watford are going to do well. They're not going to get relegated because they've got such a strong side. So if they can gel together, I believe they'll do very well. Pereira will be very key. And they've also signed some strikers. I've forgotten their name of the Watford strikers. I know they've got Troy Deeney, and they've signed someone else, and I can't remember off the top of my head. But obviously, Watford will have a very good season, I believe. Into 12th place, Crystal Palace. Obviously, they did lose Balassi, but they've brought in Steve Mandanda, Remy, Benteke. I can't remember anyone else, but they're three of the main ones. Crystal Palace looking very strong. Alan Pardew got them to the final of the FA Cup last year, so I don't see why he couldn't do very well in the Premier League this year. Nowhere near relegation for me, Crystal Palace. They're going to have a very, very decent season, probably better than they're expecting. I believe Crystal Palace will finish in 12th place, which is a very good finish for them. They've got a lot of key players. Kabay, obviously, is another good player for Crystal Palace. So I think Crystal Palace definitely could do well. So that is it from 17th to 12th. We will go from 10th to 5th, and then we'll get into the top 4 after that. Into 11th place, we have Bournemouth. Bournemouth have made some very, very good signings. Jack Wilshere on loan is the key one for me. I think he will be the difference between them finishing around 12th, 13th, and putting them in 11th place. I did sort of forget about them when making the video, and then I realised, oh my god, Bournemouth have signed some incredible players. So I did put them in at 11th over Crystal Palace, who maybe could finish above them. And most people think they will, but I think Bournemouth will just edge it because of that Jack Wilshere signing. And of course, Jordan Ibe is a very good player. And Bournemouth have got some very, very good talent, young talent especially. So that's why they're going to go into 11th. Into 10th, we have Everton, a new manager and some key signings in Ashley Williams. And they have lost, what's his name, Tim Howard. And they haven't really bought anyone to replace him. They've got Joel Robles, and they've signed someone else who I don't really rate. I can't remember his name. But other than that, Everton have got quite a good team. And I guess with Ronald Koeman now, they could really push on and do better than last season under Martinez. Into 9th place, we have Koeman's old team, Southampton. I believe no matter how many Southampton players go to Liverpool, Southampton are always going to do very well. Southampton have a very, very strong team. And they've signed some players, Nathan Redmond, but they have lost some key players, I know, Victor Wanyama especially. I think he's very underrated as a holding midfielder. He is so strong and so good at holding the ball and shielding the ball that I think maybe that could come to cost them, not replacing him. But I still think Southampton will have a very good season. Into 8th, we have West Ham. Last year, they did qualify for the Europa League and didn't get through the knockout qualification rounds, whatever they're called. But Dimitri Payet, they've kept hold of Payet, and they've signed Andre Ayew, who unfortunately did get injured, and they've signed Feghouli on a free, Gorkan Traore, and they've signed a lot of good players. And I think West Ham, it's fair to put them into 8th place. They have got such a strong team, and I just think they have a very, very strong team that they are going to finish 8th, outside of Europa League, unfortunately, but I still think it's good enough for them. Into 7th, we have Leicester City, last year's Premier League winners, but I couldn't put them any higher. Everyone else above them has strengthened so well, bar Arsenal, but Arsenal never strengthen. So I just think Leicester are just going to get knocked down just because of the fact the signings, how key they are to the club, aren't necessarily as good as the other top teams around them. But 7th place is still very, very respectable. Nowhere near relegation, which I think is truly, truly deserved. Leicester deserved to win the league last year after their performance, and I think 7th place is very fair for Leicester. I think Leicester fans will be happy with me putting them in 7th. Obviously, living very close to Leicester, I'd love to see them win the league again. As a United fan, it would hurt me, and I obviously want United to win the league, but I wouldn't mind if Leicester won it again. I don't think they will, but I think 7th place is very respectable for them. Into 6th place, we have Arsenal spend. Arsenal FC to everyone else, but they never spent anything. Mustafi almost got injured last night in a friendly, which would have been absolutely hilarious, as Arsenal have signed a few players. Mustafi, Granit Xhaka. Granit Xhaka hasn't shined at all. Lucas Perez, who I don't rate at all, he has one average season compared to other players, and he's never played for Spain, and this is the first year he's done anything. So why does all of a sudden he get a move to Arsenal? I don't know. I don't see Wenger dropping Giroud anytime soon because of his love affair for Giroud. No matter how bad Giroud is, I just think that Lucas Perez isn't the answer to your questions. They need to just buy Lacazette already, or they need to buy a striker, which is why I've put them in 6th place, because the teams above them have strengthened so well in the top 4, obviously, that I just think Arsenal don't stand a chance anymore. They've started very poorly as well, battered by Liverpool, and then only a draw against Leicester, which obviously is a good result for Leicester winning the league, but Arsenal should be doing better than that. Into 5th place, this hurts me, because they're so close to the top 4. Liverpool, obviously Liverpool, as a neutral point of view, have strengthened quite well. Not really paid much attention to Liverpool. They've finally got rid of Benteke, who was dreadful for them. Still a very good player, however, for the likes of Crystal Palace, who, yeah, I guess he's not top quality anymore, but I still think that's a good signing for Palace. But they've also got rid of Balotelli, and Jurgen Klopp's got rid of all the deadwood that they don't really want, which is good because Liverpool, as much as this hurts me, they do deserve sort of to be in the Champions League fame. But I don't know, I can't stand to see Liverpool anywhere near succeed, so this could be a little bit of a biased one. I still think I've been quite fair putting them in 5th, to be honest. But Liverpool have got a decent team. Obviously they did get battered by Bournemouth. Or was it Burnley? I think it was Burnley. It's either Burnley or Bournemouth, one of them. They obviously lost 2-0. And so yeah, I think 5th place is respectable for Liverpool. Just missing out on the Champions League spots. However, the top 3 positions, 4th, 3rd and 2nd. And then, actually no, I'm just going to do 4th to 1st because that just makes sense. So we'll get into 1st to 4th. 1st to 4th. That's difficult to say fast. And yeah, I believe those positions that I've given are very respectable for all of the clubs. So I hope there's no real controversy caused there. So we'll get into the top 4 teams now. Into 4th place, and we have Spurs. Last year finished 3rd behind Arsenal, who just nicked at the last second. Up until deadline day, I said Spurs are going to win the league. Well, up until Man United signed Paul Pogba, I said Spurs are going to win the league. I just thought they are going to do it this time, and I've been laughed at. And now I've seen the other teams strengthen so much that it's just knocked Spurs down the order. 4th place is still very, very good. Not any development on last year, but I still think Spurs fans would be happy with that. Into 3rd place we have Chelsea. Started off very well after such a poor year last year. Signed Kante, who has just changed Chelsea, and obviously Conte, the manager, has really turned around Chelsea. 3 wins from 3, just like the other 2 teams at the top of the table so far. Starting off very well, and I believe Chelsea will finish 3rd, bringing them back into the Champions League, which is good after last year. Maybe not quite what Chelsea fans would like, but I still think 3rd place is very respectable. Now the top 2, as you can see, is ruled by Manchester. However, I believe Manchester United will nick 1st spot. You can't buy Paul Pogba, Zlatan Ibrahimovic and Mkhitaryan, and obviously Eric Bailly, but mainly the first 3, and not do well. The best player in the Serie A in Paul Pogba, the best player in the French league in Zlatan Ibrahimovic, and the best player in the Bundesliga in Mkhitaryan. And then we've got a youth centre-back who has come out of the water, and I believe he's got 3 man of the matches from 4 games, or 2 from 3, or something like that anyway. Who has been very good and just shut all of the critics up, saying he's not a good player. Bailey is class. So obviously I probably am very biased in this decision because I'm a United fan, but what can I do? I believe we will win it. We have broken the transfer record and bought Paulie P back, hashtag Pog back, and it's just such a strong side that I think we will nick City to it. The Manchester derby is coming up, and I might do a reactions to that live video with Ethan, who's obviously a City fan, and some of my other mates, in the likes of Charlie and Harry, obviously. May do that if I can get them together. But I believe Manchester United will win the league. Manchester City obviously have an incredibly strong team and one of the best managers in the world in Pep Guardiola. Pep vs Mourinho is coming up soon, so this is really the deciding game on, for me, who's going to win the league. With Aguero out, I think United will win the league. Will win the derby. But I should probably talk about City now. They bought in Gundogan, who if they can keep fit will be absolutely incredible for them. They've obviously brought in Sane, who is very, very young and looks very promising. I believe he's also out injured currently. Obviously, they've lost Joe Hart, but they've brought in Claudio Bravo, who is a very, very good replacement. I think ter Stegen was the ideal target for Pep Guardiola, but I believe he had a very, very high transfer release clause, which is why they didn't sign him. So yeah, Manchester City will finish in second, in my opinion, with United finishing top. We have bought in the best players from the top 5 leagues. Obviously, we haven't bought someone from the BPL or we haven't bought anyone from the BPL, so that could be the only thing that lets us down. No BPL proven. Obviously, Paul Pogba played in the BPL for a little bit, and then Zlatan Ibrahimovic just had what a great start. So I think United will win the league. So that is my BPL predictions. Obviously, this could be very biased as I'm a United fan, but prediction videos and talking about the BPL always causes controversy. But if you disagree or agree, let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to see what you think. And I apologise for made any spelling mistakes in this video. Spelling really isn't something I've ever been very good at. And I know that, so I've tried my best. And as some of you have pointed out before, looking at you, Sean, my spelling has sometimes been off. I apologise for that. But nevertheless, if you have enjoyed this video, drop a like, and I will actually do a reaction to this if you want me to, when the BPL finishes, and see how wrong or how right I am. However, that is it for now. If you have enjoyed, drop a like I said, and hit that subscribe button, so you never miss any videos. Oh God, sorry. Any videos from the channel. That is it for now, and I will see you later.